Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me for part two of our collective journey deep into our core stabilizers. So for this practice today, we are going to be into our transverse abdominis, which is kind of this low abdominal belt. We are going to engage a little bit of the pelvic floor, and then we'll be in to wake up our obliques, these side body muscles. So all together, these muscles again act as a corset to really stabilize and support the spine as well as your pelvis. So this is great for our balance. This is great for injury prevention. It's great for poise. It's great for strength. So let's get started with a block today. You're going to have a blanket if you like to have something underneath you, which I do. And a couple of the things that we're going to be doing today as you continue to build your core capacity, tapping into that deep resilience, feel free to add more repetitions to your sets. I'm going to take us through a series of exercises and salud. Here's to our health. Let's get started. So we're coming down onto our backs, and we're going to get started very much the way that we got started in part one. So we're coming down into our constructive rest. Knees are bent, soles of your feet are on the floor. And I want us to start with these pelvic undulations, right? Where we're maybe taking our peace fingers to our hip points, and we're just feeling this pelvis roll forward and back. So just as a gentle reminder here, when the pelvis is tipping forward, this is our anterior tilt. And this is the one where we have a lot of space in the lumbar spine. And then in the posterior tilt, as the pelvis pulls back, right, we could maybe pause and just see that there's no space underneath the back. And then we're continuing here just to start to mobilize a little bit of energy around this area of our body. So because we are going to be starting with really subtle work today, and we're going to be building in our progressions, I'm going to invite you here to bring a close to your eyes so that you can start to cultivate what we call interoception, right? Inner awareness. We are going to need some inner awareness in order to cultivate these deep muscles that maybe we're not as familiar with accessing. So take a couple more moments here. Eyes are closed. As always, we're going to be with all that is. And then notice that we're moving through end range here, right? We're moving all the way into that forward anterior tilt, and we're moving all the way into the posterior tilt. And then between these two end places, I want you to just relax. And let's just notice where our neutral tilt is, right? So we're going to have a little bit of lordotic curve here in the low back. And I really want us to maintain that. All right, we're going to think about the sacrum, which is the keystone in the middle of the pelvis. And without needing to tilt the pelvis forward or back like we were just doing, I want you to press your sacrum straight down into the floor, right? We're going to keep feet to the earth, and we're going to press that sacrum straight down like you're trying to plant your sacrum 6 feet below the earth. And you'll feel this sort of deep core coming on, right? It's not the hardest work we've ever done, but there's certainly some activation down here, right? Let's just stay with this for a moment. Let's be curious about it. Take another couple of moments, because as I was just saying, we're going to add progressions here. All right, so I know it doesn't look like we're doing much from the outside, but you can really feel this deep, interesting activation. So go ahead and relax. Okay, we're going to do that again, but this time we're going to add in the pelvic floor lift. So you're going to press straight down with the sacrum like you're trying to plant the back of the pelvis into the floor. No forward tilt, no posterior tilt, just straight down. And then I want you to start to engage the lift of the pelvic floor. So if you haven't done this before, it's almost like you've got to pee really bad and you're kind of cinching. And maybe there's a sensation like we need to pass wind, right? Engage as well, right? So we're pulling in and up as we're pressing down with the sacrum. That is a lot of activation. Again, it doesn't look like we're doing too much from the outside, yet you know in your body that there's some pretty deep, what we call in yoga, the mula bandha, right? The root lock. Take just another moment. And then again, let's completely soften. Oh, so good. All right, we are going to start to add a little bit of movement into this. So let's consider that we're going to press the sacrum into this floor, like maybe 40%. And we're going to lift the pelvic floor, maybe 40%. And we are really going to try to keep that activation as we find a little bit of movement for our limbs here. So again, sacrum presses straight down. All right, you're sensing that you have to pee really bad, and we're going to kind of give that lift, right? We can't find the bathroom fast enough. All right, let's keep that. And you're going to lift your right leg up into reverse tabletop. And we're going to lift the left leg up into reverse tabletop. And notice that we want to lose that deep core activation. So let's do our best to maintain. I want you to see if you can keep the 90-degree behind your knees. And from here, really mindful movement. We're going to drop that left heel to tap the earth and lift. All right, let's go over to the right. Tap the heel and lift. Let's see if we can stabilize the knee, continue this journey. And we're just really moving through the hip joint here, right? Core stabilizers are active and engaged. We're pressing sacrum down. We've got that lift to the pelvic floor. There is a lot going on. Woo! All right, let's stay with this for 3, 2, 2. Last one. Let's go. 1, 1. All right, go ahead and bring both knees in towards your chest. Woo, wrap your arms around your shins. Give yourself a little hug, right? Maybe we've done core exercises before, but we've got all these different layers of our core, right? These core stabilizers that we're starting to tap in right now, those are really deep in the body, right? We may not have said hello to those for a while. So give yourself a sweet little hug, right? You were just reintroduced to deeper areas of the body. Let's take just another moment here. And then we're actually going to come into our Uttanasana. So let's go ahead and keep this left knee in. Stretch your right leg all the way out. Pull. That'll feel really good. It's just kind of a passive stretch. You can keep these hands interlaced around your shin. Give yourself a sweet little hug. And then, of course, we're going to move through a couple rounds of extension and flexion. So stretch your leg up and then hug your knee back in towards your chest. And let's go again. Stretching up and hugging knee in towards chest. All right, maybe 1 or maybe 2 more times. And then the next time that you have your left knee coming in towards your chest, let's pause. And I actually want you to keep the left knee in towards your chest, but you're going to take a bend to the right knee and place the sole of your right foot on the floor. So that's what we call constructive rest. You're rooting that right foot into the earth. And then from here, we're going to release this left leg to reach all the way back up to the sky. You're going to open your arms out into a T, and we're going to start to find some functional hip circles here. Although we are not load bearing, So you're going to start to lower this left foot towards the floor, and right before it touches down, sweep it out to the side and back up. All right, I want you to let this be kind of free range movement so that it's okay for us these first few to find some movement in the pelvis, right? The pelvis might want to roll to the right or the left as we kind of move with the weight of our leg. Take one more big circle. And then I want you to keep circling your leg like this, but stabilize the pelvis. Now there's no more movement in the pelvis. There's no more movement in the low back. There's just movement in your hip socket. So this is a great way to access those stabilizers, put them to work, and also get a little bit of synovial circulation moving to the joint of your hip here. All right, one more big circle. And as we come back up, we'll pause. You could go ahead and lower that left foot to the floor. Bring your right knee in towards your chest. And we're going to set this up for the second side. So you're going to stretch left leg all the way out. Pause here. Give yourself this sweet little squeeze. And then let's move in and out of our extension and flexion, right? Moving through this sagittal plane of motion. This is a very familiar plane of movement for your body, right? It's like walking or riding a bike. So hips and knees, they're real familiar with this movement pattern. All right, the next time your knee is in towards your chest, pause, and let's take a bend into that left knee. So left foot to the floor. And then go ahead and release your right leg all the way up to the sky. We're going to open these arms out into a T. And then from here, let's drop this right foot towards the floor and then circle it out to the right. And again, we're finding what I like to call free range movement. So we can allow the pelvis to roll with the weight of this right leg, right? Your quadricep muscles, your hamstring muscles, they're big groups of muscles. There's quite a bit of weight in the leg. So let your body roll as it needs to. But then let's notice what it feels like to stabilize. Right? Core stabilizers. So we are using them right now in service of finding a really healthy functional range of motion in the hip socket. And you'll notice that as you stabilize, right, we're activated. We're tapping into our core capacity. All right. Take another big circle, and as you come all the way up to the top, we will pause. You can bend your knee, let your 2 feet go back to the floor. And from here, we're going to grab this block that we brought on our journey today. And I want you to take a look at your block, right? It's made up of a series of rectangles. So let's find the long, skinny rectangle. All right, from here, let's take this over to let's take it to the right thigh. And then you're going to place that long rectangle along the length of your right thigh. Left hand is going to come and press into the block. So we're going to have a little bit of contralateral engagement. All right, I want you to do that thing where we're pressing sacrum down into the floor. Remember, we're only going to go like 40%. That's plenty of engagement. And then pull the lift up of the pelvic floor, another 40%. Let's see if we can keep that. You're going to lift this right leg up into reverse tabletop. And then we're going to take the right arm up to the sky. And we're going to take the left leg up to the sky. Here we go. So a little more proprioception as we start to move these alternating limbs around in space, right? You're going to bring right arm alongside your ear, lower that left leg. All right, bring it back up to the ceiling or to the sky on your exhale. All right, let's do that again. So inhale and exhale. Woo, doing great. Can we maintain the activation to the deep core, right? Or are we starting to lose some of that as we move? Let's see if we can be really honest about keeping that sacrum pressing down, honoring the neutral tilt of the pelvis, and that gentle activation of pelvic floor lift. All right, we're going to do one more of these. And as you come all the way back up to center, let's pause. Whew, maybe bring those knees back in towards your chest. You could take your block off to the side. And it might be nice as a counter pose to let our feet go to the earth, to heel toe these feet wide, and to let these knees rock side to side. So in and amidst, right, our transverse abdominis and pelvic floor, some of us might be noticing that we're starting to activate hip flexors as well. And that's free of charge. So salud, right? Here's to our health. All right. Let's see if we can get this set up for the second side. I know we can. Let's heel toe feet back in so they're in line with our sitting bones. Grab your block. Find the long, skinny rectangle. All right, this time it goes to that left thigh. And right hand is coming across. So there we go. There's our contralateral engagement. Sacrum goes straight down into the earth. Pelvic floor lifts up. Keep that as you lift that left leg up into reverse tabletop. All right, can we keep it all as the left arm goes up, as the right leg goes up? And here we go. Left arm alongside your ear, right leg extends. And exhale back up. All right, do your best. We're off and running. Now, this is definitely one of those exercises, one of these drills that as you start to build your capacity, right, AKA your resilience, your core strength, you'll be able to add more reps or maybe take a break and then find a whole second set, right? For me, I just want to introduce these exercises to you today. So let's do one more. And as we come back up, we are pausing. Bring knees in towards your chest. Whew. Take your feet to the floor. We're going to take this block off to the side. We're kind of done with that for now. And again, if it felt good for you, walk your feet wide and enjoy some of your internal and external rotation into the hip socket. If there's something else that's calling to you as a sweet release, I certainly invite you to find that right now. Take just another moment with your stretch. And then as your knees come back to center, if you were windshielding, walk your feet back in. And we're going to start to roll onto our left side. And we're going to take and start to move into our obliques here, but we'll start to also activate a little bit of strength into the glute medius, and we'll also be getting a little bit of circulation into the shoulder joint. So I'm going to scoot here so I'm kind of centered on my mat. What I want us to do is come onto the left side, stretch your legs all the way out, and stretch your left arm all the way out. So you're really on your pencil straight side body, and you'll notice that your right hand is probably to the floor here in front of you to support you. But I want you to lean into your chest and your core stabilizers to float this right arm all the way up towards the sky. And let's enjoy some circles here with this right arm. This is such a beautiful way to get that circulation moving around the joint. Again, no load bearing here, just like when we had our leg to the sky. This is functional range of motion. Maybe take a moment to circle the other way. And we'll take just another breath or two here. And then we're going to keep this left arm reaching up, right arm, and you're going to float your right leg as well. And let's find a couple circles here. And if this is new for you, right, this might be really wibble wobbly. So let's trust the process. Allow your body to wibble wobble. Don't get frustrated, right? Our bodies aren't really accustomed to balancing on the side body. So challenge yourself, right? Feel all these muscles kind of blinking on and blinking off. All right, we're going to take one more circle here. And then you're going to let your two legs come back to stack. Now, we are going to keep this right arm reaching up to the sky. We're going to start to activate these oblique muscles. So these are these side body muscles. All right, here we go. We're going to float right leg up, but let's only go about 8 to 10 inches above the floor this time. And then you're going to lift that left leg up to meet the right. And you're going to feel, these muscles right here just activate. All right, lower both legs all the way back to the floor. We're going to do this 4 more times, again, with the option to add more repetitions or more sets as you build strength and capacity. So here we go. Let's lift the top leg. Again, it's not too high. It's like 8 to 10 inches from the floor. Bring the bottom leg up. Woo, there it is. That's a lot of activation. And let's see if we can hold this for 3, 2, 1, lower back to the earth. So that was 2. Let's go again. Float your leg. Lift the bottom leg. Here we go. For 3, 2, 1. Lower down. All right, 2 more. Float the top leg. Bottom leg comes up to meet the top. And here we are for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your legs. Whew. Last one. Float the top leg. Bring the bottom leg up to meet the right. And here we go for 25. Just kidding. 24. No, really, I'm kidding. And 3. And 2. And 1. Oh. Legs come back. And you're going to go ahead and roll onto your back body. Whoo! Take a sigh, take a pause. We're going to roll over onto our right here and get set up for the second side. I'm going to do my kind of slow motion break dancing on the floor as I kind of spin around so that I can stay facing you. And here we go. You're stretching right arm out. We're going to challenge ourselves to be in a place of instability, right? So that these core stabilizers can start to activate. So really come onto your side body. Left arm comes up towards the sky, and here we go. Beautiful stretch around the tissues of the shoulder joint. Hopefully you've joined me for our shoulder health series, and you're starting to reclaim this beautiful range of motion in the shoulder joints. If you haven't done that series, if the shoulders are feeling a little tight and cranky, you might visit that 3-part series. All right, let's keep this left arm reaching up. Float the left leg. Find some circles. And let's find some circles the other way. Maybe you're noticing glute medius starting to warm up here just a little bit. All right, from here, let's go ahead and bring your 2 legs back to stack. We're going to challenge ourselves to keep this left arm in the sky. And here we go. Left leg goes up. And then from here, let's bring that right leg up to meet the left. Woo, obliques right here. For 3, 2, 1. Lower both legs back to the earth. All right, let's go again. We're playing with this, right? If we roll forward or back, it's okay. Just bring yourself back to your side body. Float that bottom leg up to meet the top. And let's pause here for 3, 2, 1. We're lowering all the way back. All right, 3 more. Float your leg. Right leg comes up to meet the left, and we are pausing here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your legs. All right, almost there. Float the top leg. Lift the bottom leg. Salud, right? Here's to our health. Here's to our resilience. Here's to our balance. Here's to our healthy quality of life. Injury prevention. Lower the legs, right? It's good to remember why we're doing what we're doing. Float your top leg. This is our last one. Bottom leg comes up, and here we are pausing for 5,000. 4,999, and 3, and 2, and 1. Lower your legs. Whew. Roll yourself onto your back. Well done, everybody. Take a moment to take a breath, to stretch your legs out. All right, we have just completed part 2 of our collective journey into the deep core. So again, I wish you good health and salud.